Alright, we're going to be watching a 3-stack here. We're going to be playing Baptiste, Diva, and Moira, and their ranks are Gold 2, Gold 5, and Silver 1, respectively. So this is going to be Junkles, Ogeyrrat, and AzureFuzz. Hi everyone, this is on PC. My two friends and I have started our competitive journey this season. We just played our strongest and most back and forth game so far. For context, Junkles and I are Overwatch 1 veterans from 2016 to 2019. He continued playing, but I was on hiatus until this year. AzureFuzz only just started Overwatch 2 last year, and we've recently begun playing together last month. We'd like some feedback on how the three of us can continue to improve, both as individuals and as a group. I know this might be big ass to review 3 players back to back, but would appreciate any input. Okay, so I'm going to cover the first 2 points on defense only, right? Just because it's really time consuming to try to cover everybody. So we'll just go through like, hey, for each hero, what are we looking for? What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? And how do you better interoperate with each other? So for starters, we're gonna start with Baptiste here. So for Baptiste, what's our general goal here? Well, our general goal is we're gonna apply damage and we're gonna apply healing, and that's kind of the general idea, right? Damage healing constantly. And we're going to be weaving. If you don't know what weaving is when you do a specific attack pattern, which is going to be attack, attack, heal, attack, heal, and just do that pattern constantly. I will link my Baptiste resources as to like why you'd want to do this, but the short answer is just do it like all the time. Like whether or not, I think especially when you're learning the pattern, whether or not someone actually needs to get healed is actually, I would say, irrelevant. Just continue attack, attack, heal, just constantly doing it over and over again to build the muscle memory. And then you can learn selectively like when not to do it and when to change it up and things like that. But as a general rule, when you start out, I would say just constantly do attack, attack, heal, because the output that you have is actually massive. So Baptiste, I think you have the right general idea. We're going to be playing up here, or alternatively over here. It really depends on whether or not they have dive or snipers. If they have no snipers, then you can easily play both spots. If they have dive, you can only play this spot typically, unless somebody's going to be able to keep you alive from the dive here. So against their lineup, I think you actually probably would be okay playing over here, right, against just Pharah and Diva and apply some damage. The reason why you might want to play a little closer, by the way, is because it's A, easier to play with your Ashe, and B, allows you to heal faster and more responsively. So it's more likely you will slow down the cart from this position than from over here, where you're going to be outside the effective range of your weapon, which means that you'll just be like kind of poking them at this range with very little damage, and there you won't need to worry about it. Versus over here, it's much scarier, and they kind of have to deal with you sooner. So if I were you in this situation, I would actually be playing right here with my Ashe, keeping my Ashe alive and applying damage. But let's watch how that plays out. So obviously no need to heal there, like no one's actually injured, right? You shoot the Baptiste, and it's pretty good, right? No problem there. Note, really common, especially if you're going to play 2 supports, or as in you're going to queue with a tank and dual support as you are, do not make a mistake of having both supports exclusively heal your tank. It's one of the most common problems I see with like trio type situations, is that both supports focus on keeping their tank, because obviously like they're in the same voice chat with their tank, like in Discord or whatever. The tank's like, I need healing, so they both like hyper focus on their tank, and then the DPS suffer and can't do their jobs, and then you end the game, you're like, oh, why does my DPS only have like 4 eliminations and my tank has 20? Obviously the DPS are bad. The DPS aren't doing anything because they don't get healing. It's so common in this situation with tank and double support that both supports exclusively focus their tank. And as a general rule, only one of the supports should be near the tank, and the other support should be near at least one of the DPS on the off angle. There are many exceptions to this rule, but as a general mentality, that's what I would choose to do. Because both of you healing the Diva is not going to give you much value, but you, as the Baptiste standing here healing your Ashe, actually does give you value. Because you can see your Ashe is applying pressure here, right here, right? And she's going to eat this orb and damage, and now she's forced to back up. But if you keep healing her, maybe she doesn't back up, and maybe she kills the Pharah right now, because the Pharah is quite vulnerable. But because she doesn't have any healing, doesn't have any teammates near her, she gets scared, she backs up. Versus if you're standing here with her against the Pharah, maybe you two just kill the Pharah, right? And then you win this first fight just based on that. So something to think about here. Okay, again, you're healing. There's literally nobody who has taken any damage. I have to change the skip to be less. So, right, you show here, nobody here is injured. So this is just a waste of your grenades, right? More waste of grenades. So I would probably reload now, because you don't see any targets that are either friendly or friendly that are injured, or enemy targets, so just reload, right? No reason to stay high on ammo. Or sorry, stay not on high on ammo in the situation. This is a really good example of like you're outside of your effective range right now. Look how little damage you do to this Diva. Right? So you did like 30 damage-ish right there with that shot, and that was a headshot as well. to give you an idea, like you're outside of the effective range, so you can do way less damage. I like this rotation over here. I think this is good, right? So we're looking for shoot, shoot, heal patterns, but obviously your D.Va isn't taking damage now. But now you can do, right? One heal, right? Heal, shoot, shoot. Heal, shoot, shoot. Heal, shoot, shoot. Just keep doing it over and over and over again. It might seem silly, but like it's actually massive. The amount of damage and healing that you can give as Baptiste is crazy when you get used to the pattern. And it's not that hard once you just practice it. So, Genji's low right now. I would not have thrown this lamp. Now, you might think, well, why not? The Genji is critical. Well, two things. Number one, right? Genji this far forward is kind of like on their own. You know what I mean? Like they don't expect to get healed or saved in this situation. So I'm going to assume that they have a plan. The Genji is obviously wasted dash and he messes up his wall climb, which is why this doesn't work. But that's kind of number one, is that I would not expect that. At this rank, yeah, maybe people die, but I wouldn't waste lamp for this. I think it's a bad habit to do that. Number two here is you have not seen him use deflect. And as long as he has deflect, he's fine, right? So he's not going to die right here. He's going to pop deflect and he's good, right? And he's going to back up and he's fine. So I wouldn't actually have used lamp in this situation. I would have healed him for sure, right? One heal, shoot, shoot, heal, shoot, shoot, heal, shoot, shoot. I would have kept doing that, but I would not have thrown lamp right now, right? I think it's like kind of tricky whether or not you would or not, but like I'm just noting here, I personally wouldn't have thrown lamp. Now, number two here is, as you're doing this, you start getting pressured by the Ana. So as this is going on, I try to save the Genji. I step back here, I pop regen burst, and I re-peek and I start shooting the Ana. Because the Ana is actually a relatively easy target, and unless after with the regen burst, I'm going to be healthy enough that she'll take her 3 darts to kill me. So I want to force her off of this angle, A. B, I know my Ashe is with me, so the two of us shooting this Ana is immediately going to force a retreat. Little things like that add up to win games, because if the Ana's not pressuring us, that's one fewer player on their team who's not doing anything, which allows me to then go back to healing and shooting here and applying pressure. But you gave up right away. As a general rule, if anybody goes below 50% health, immediately pop regen burst, which includes you. So you should pop regen burst right now, right? Duck for a second, right? And then re-peek with your Ashe and kill the Ana. Probably not kill her, probably just force her back, but like it was worth it either way. But you rotate over. I would not have dropped here. There is no reason to drop. I think dropping is very dangerous, and this could have been exploited in a number of different ways. There's no reason to drop. The Genji is safe right now. I know he's like low, but he's not killable at this angle because he's going to be right here. You see how nobody can see him? He's got plenty of time here to do whatever he wants to get away. He's perfectly safe right now, including just walking to the Mega himself, and he'll be safe. So I just heal, just grenade from up here, from up top, right? Just grenade, shoot, shoot, grenade, shoot, shoot, grenade. Just keep doing that. No need to drop here, right? And then you pop regen burst. Now, obviously, you got more value out of regen burst by healing you and the Genji, but if I were you, I would already have healed myself earlier, and I would have forced the Ana off the angle already. And then I would have gone over the deal with Genji or whatever the situation was. And as I note, your Genji would never have died here under any scenario. Certainly not any reasonable scenario. So now we see that you've left your Ashe, Symmetra teleports up here, right? Immediately takes the fight with her, and the Ana applies pressure, and then she's going to die. And this is a really good example of how, if you don't stick around with your teammates, sometimes they'll die, and you could have prevented it. You could have prevented this by staying here. You would have A, forced the Ana off the angle, so she never would be shooting your Ashe, and B, be here to help against the Symmetra, who's nearly dead, and then you and the Ashe just kill the Symmetra. So this would be a 2-hero swing if you just stayed here with your Ashe. And again, I want to re-emphasize, it's really important for at least one of the supports to be paying attention to the DPS and being ready to help them, or just already in position to help them. If you don't do that, you will lose a lot of games because your DPS will be really ineffective, and if they get any help, they're going to run over your DPS, right? If their DPS get help from their supports, it's going to be 2v1 against your DPS, and your DPS will lose every time, right? Really, really important that you pay attention to your DPS. So now that your DPS is already dead, I think that things are bad for right now. My perspective is, look, Ashe is dead. I don't know that the Symmetra's low, by the way, in this situation, because she's too far away and I haven't damaged her. So I would assume she has full health right now. So I would assume there's no point in me shooting at her. I would just heal my D.Va and keep applying damage to their D.Va, right? Heal, shoot, shoot, heal, shoot, shoot, heal, shoot, shoot, just over and over and over again, right? That's like the one takeaway, or I would say 2 takeaways here, right? 1, stick with your DPS, or one of you should stick with the DPS. 2 is just constantly weave, right? I know some people in the comments occasionally say like, oh, it's not a big deal. I think it's a relatively easy thing to do that gives you a massive increase in value to fights. I cannot emphasize enough how strong weaving is at applying sustained pressure to the opposing team, right? The damage output is nuts for Baptiste. So we can see right here that you are completely now tunnel visioned on this teleporter, which is not doing anything, and you haven't healed this D.Va right here. So I'm going to give you an example for just how much I could do right now. So starting from when you start shooting the teleporter, I'm going to track this, okay? Shoot, shield. All right, the timing's wrong, okay? So we'll ignore that one. Shoot, heal. Shoot, heal. Shoot, heal. Shoot. Right? So right now, that's what? Six, we'll call it 6 shoots and 3 heals, right? So 6 shoots at the enemy is 75 damage each, is 450 damage without including effective range drop off, which is going to be a little bit at this range. But that's a lot of damage pressure against the opposing D.Va, right? Assuming no headshots. 450 damage against D.Va would have demeched her, for perspective. And then the healing on your D.Va, I can't remember what the healing grenade direct is now. Let's say it's like 70-ish, right? So 70 times 3 is another 210 healing. So I would have done 450 damage and healed 210 in the period of time it took you to kill that teleporter. Does killing the teleporter worth it? It doesn't do anything, you know what I mean? Like, the Symmetra was totally fine, she was safe, she was not going to die there in the scenario. It's not like it would have trapped her, she could easily just walk off back to her team and she'd be totally safe. These are the kind of thing where we're like, look, how much value can you get? Like, this is just not, you're not doing anything right now that's helping your team win. Alright, you should be in retreat mode. Okay, yeah, right there when you took that headshot, I would immediately pop regen burst. Because again, you drop below 50% health, pop the regen burst, get the extra healing, make sure you don't die to anything else. So you're a little slow on that. But right now, really important, right? Shoot, heal. Shoot, heal. Just keep doing it. Are we doing it? We're not. We're exclusively healing, right? And this is really common with Baptiste players, for especially newer ones, is they can only shoot or they can only heal, and they have the inability to do both. I will tell you that you will never climb to any quote-unquote like high-ish rank. I would say, you know, like low diamond plus, if you can't do this. Because if you can only do one or the other, you're not utilizing Baptiste's kit to his maximum potential. Okay? It would be like saying, like, oh, if I played Ana and I only used grenade to heal teammates and never throw it at the enemy, and it's like, that would be a hard limit on how high you can climb, because Ana's grenade, weirdly enough, is actually designed to be thrown at the enemy, not teammates, because anti-heal is much stronger than the bonus healing property from it. So, same thing for Baptiste, right? If you can't or don't want to play a hero that has to weave, don't play Baptiste, don't play Kiriko, right? You can play Ana, you could play Lifeweaver, you could play Zenyatta, right? He only has the damage, just throw Harmony Armor on somebody. You could play, you know, Brigitte, you could play whatever, right? It's like so there's so many options, right? Yeah, so again, weaving, really important, right? That's really, if you're going to stop this push at all, which arguably there's actually almost no way you can do that at this point, but if you're going to stop this push at all, it's because you're going to out-sustain the enemy in this situation and / get a pick. And that only comes with damage. Healing is not going to change the outcome of this fight at all. So you must apply damage here to slow down the enemy and prevent the pursuit that will kill all 3 of you. Right? So, that lamp is popped, but it's not useful, right? Your D.Va's flying away, and like, I understand you're like, hey, maybe she didn't get demac'd, but first of all, she still has like 200 plus health. She's already in boosters, and she's gonna get around cover quickly. I assume if she really thought she was gonna get demac'd, she would end up using Matrix here. I do not use lamp for this, right? So now, right, heal, shoot, heal. This is where like maximum damage is now applied. At this point in time, I'm healing and getting basically all headshots. So it's like, heal for 70, 150 damage, 150 damage, heal, 150 damage, 150 damage. Just doing that over and over again, and that's how I'm going to carry this fight out. Do I still think we win? No, because your D.Va's about to get demec'd here anyway, but if I were you, I would not have allowed D.Va to get demec'd right now, because right now, when I realize, okay, they are pursuing, at this moment in time, I see the Sim, I see the D.Va, now I throw lamp. I throw lamp behind the D.Va to the right, and now I just carry through like pure mechanical skill at that point in time. Am I likely to win a fight? Again, no, because you're down 2 players, but I'm just noting like that is the moment where like everything comes together, and honestly, with you plus the Moira, it's actually possible here you carry. Now that I think about it, it is not impossible here that I actually save the D.Va, or actually already back, so it's a 4v5, and I just kill this Symmetra in 2 shots. 2 bursts here easily kills a Symmetra, right? If you land headshots. So yeah, I mean, there is a world here where I could just carry from this point forwards. But having wasted lamp, not weaving, not having applied enough damage pressure, not being far enough back, you can see everything kind of goes wrong from here. So that's the Baptiste angle. So let's roll back and let's cover the Moira angle. I don't think Moira is particularly good on this map. I will start by saying that. I think Moira is especially not good at this section of the map, which is very poke-y. I think Moira is bad in poke situations. Basically, when you're shooting at people who are really far away, Moira literally has nothing that she can do, right? You can heal your teammate, and you can throw a damage orb, which is not going to do anything that far away. And that's pretty much it. And the problem is you're eventually going to run out of healing, and then you can't even leech them to get your healing back. So Moira likes close to medium range, like brawly fights. Or dive. That's what Moira is good at. This long range poke scenario, like on Dorado, which is a lot of poke areas, is not good for Moira. So like legitimately, there's really not much that you can do right now that would be of any value. I think the only thing that you can consider is I probably would have started over here to apply some pressure to the Pharah, right? Throw a healing orb to keep myself up here, and then try to keep the Pharah out of the sky, and then stay here and leech people on the cart. I think that's probably your best option in the situation, but right now you're doing nothing. Okay? That's A. B is, let's look at this healing. What are you healing right now? Like, do you see that this is not even close to the D.Va? There's no point in doing this healing. Like, literally, if you double the distance of this healing, it's still not going to reach the D.Va. So you're just wasting juice here for no reason. Okay? Now you throw healing orb, even though your D.Va's missing 25 health, and now you're on an 8-second cooldown. This is also not good value. Right? Everything you do, every action you take should be about getting value. What is value? Value is effectiveness. What did your action do? So for example, if I deal 100 damage to the enemy, that is value. If I heal my teammate for 100 health, that is value. If I aggress on an enemy who's in a vulnerable position and they back up, that is value. If I aggress on an enemy who's in a vulnerable position and kill them, that's even more value, right? These are all the things that you're thinking about and you're trying to get more value. What you're doing right now is you're getting no value. You're wasting your resources, your healing juice, your healing orb, your time, and you're getting nothing for it. I would have dropped low for that Genji at that point in time. This healing is not even close to being on target, right? So Genji's coming over. I will note here, look how far away the Genji is from your healing, okay? Genji's over here, right? This healing is so far away from the Genji. Like, and not only that, your healing doesn't even reach far enough. So this is one thing that's really important. Again, I have this linked in the Moira resources where you can see like an animated version of healing spray. Very, very common for Moiras to not understand A, the delay on the heal spray, and B, how far the healing goes. Look how far the distance is between your heal spray and the Genji. You see this? This is like another 10 meters of space that your healing spray is not going to reach, even if it was on target, which it's very clearly not. Right? It's going down this way, but the Genji is up here. So, again, we see that you're just wasting your resources and not getting anything out of it. And this is a problem because to win fights, you need to generally provide more value than the opposing team. If you don't, the opposing team will win, right? Because they're doing something and you're not. I would note again, it might look like you're healing him. You're not healing him with a single point of this heal spray. Like, you've used up a third of your heal gauge, and I don't think you've healed 1 point of damage so far. As a note, right? Again, more healing that is not reaching the Genji. We would know the Genji's getting healed because you would see him glow, right? But, like, you got nothing here. More healing. I think that one's actually going to maybe hit your D.Va, but your D.Va's not even damaged, so, like, it's not going to make a difference. You throw a heal orb, which I think is reasonable now. Now we want to heal the Genji, but we're not healing the Genji. We're healing the wall, right? Now we're healing nothing. Now we're healing the car. Now we're still healing the car. We're still healing the wall. And just now, we've just started healing Genji. And now we've gone past the Genji. And now we're healing nothing. And now we're healing nothing. And now, look right now. Look at the heal gauge. You've now used up, what? Like, this is probably like 85% of your heal gauge. You've used up almost your whole heal gauge for virtually nothing. So that's a thing to practice. I think more legitimately, I think her heal spray is way harder to aim than I think people give it credit for, especially when you're farther away. It actually takes a considerable amount of mechanical skill to heal people. But you're not doing it right now. I can tell you very clearly, you're definitely not doing it right now. You're just not getting healing here. Quick note, if you want to get your gauge back quickly, it's actually better to tap right click or use scroll wheel to do it than it is to hold it down. It does less damage, but it increments the gauge back faster. So, at this moment in time, I would just really heal my D.Va because their D.Va's never going to get demacked with 2 supports back here. So I would just heal my D.Va, yeah. So heal spray I think is fine, or healing orb is fine, right? Again, we're healing nothing. Now we're leeching nothing. Still leeching nothing. Okay, here's a sim. And then you fade away right away, which I think is fine. I think to be greedy there, you actually could have done a damage orb and then faded, but it's still fine. So what we're doing right now is called frontlining. So frontlining is really bad. So frontlining is where you're ahead of the tank. So as a general rule, when you have tanks facing off here, in most tank situations, there are exceptions, but in most tank situations, you have your tank that's here, and you're going to have the enemy tank that's over here, okay? This space in between is no man's land. And as a general rule, nobody from either team should be in this space between them. The reason being is that the opposing team is going to focus their fire on whoever is in this box ahead of the opposing tank because it makes you vulnerable. You're closer to them, so you're easier to hit and a lot more of their abilities can reach you, right? For example, Moira Leech. They don't shoot the tank here. If you're in the situation, they will all shoot you, which will get you killed or force out cooldowns very quickly. So as a general rule, as a support, if you can see the opposing tank, but your tank is not in front of you, you are probably making a mistake if you're within, let's say, 15 meters of them. There are exceptions to this rule, but at your level, I think it's easier to simply think of it as, if my tank is behind me, I am probably making a mistake, right? As a general rule. You take a ton of damage there, you could have just died straight up. Any headshot there would have killed you with the Cassidy. Right? Purple happens, you're low, I immediately fade back out. Right? At 70 health, I fade, I go to the backside of the fountain, or even all the way back here, and we need to reset this fight. Healing the D.Va is not going to do anything right now because the D.Va is purple, right? So this right here, the purple, indicates anti-heal, which means the D.Va cannot be healed. No amount of healing will do anything to her right now. So all you're doing is wasting your heal gauge for nothing. I would also note that you're also not on target, but again, this is a problem we've already flagged. So you need to get out of here. Honestly, the lamp wasn't needed to save the D.Va, but might have been needed to save you. So now you fade, but the problem is this is now bad because fade is a relatively short cooldown, but if you use it at this period of time, it means that when you fade now, right, when the D.Va is already here, you end up in a vulnerable spot back here, and now you have no fade for 6 seconds. Versus if you faded back here, like I said, you would be in the same position, but your fade would be already nearly up, available again, and you could use it to escape. So that's a problem. We'll also note over here is that, hey, you need a heal orb, but the heal orb is not necessarily going in a good direction, okay? You want the heal orb to be towards your D.Va, so your D.Va can get that healing, because your D.Va is really, really low right now. So, I mean, it's kind of lucky that she walks back into it, but I would just note that I would try to throw it towards the D.Va. D.Va gets demacked. Once that happens, it's basically over, something you do. Okay, so let's roll it back to the D.Va's perspective. So, from up here, I think this is kind of complicated. There's a lot of possibility. Tank is usually the most complicated position to play because there's so many situational factors as to where you should be playing. But I would say in this situation, I think I don't want to talk through the more complex situations because I think it will be overly, I think it will be overwhelming for you. I'm going to put it more simply. As a tank, what is my effective range and try to play in that effective range. So for example, D.Va has a very short effective range, okay? So if D.Va's here, so imagine, you know, this is you, this is the D.Va, okay? If the enemy is over here, if there is an enemy over here, do you think that if you shoot them, this is a good range? Let's imagine not a tank, right? A squishy, let's say, you know, Cassidy, Soldier, you know, whatever. Do you think this is a good range or a bad range for you? This is not a good range. If the enemy is here, do you think this is a good range or a bad range? I would say this is okay. If the enemy is over here, do you think this is a good range or a bad range? This is a good range. This is what you're aiming for. If the enemy is over here, is this good range or a bad range? This is a great range. Now, why is this the case? D.Va's weapon, her primary weapon, right, her cannons, is effectively a shotgun. It's a rapid fire shotgun, which means the damage spreads out over a larger area because they're pellets, which means that a target that's farther away gets hit by fewer pellets, which reduces your damage. B, D.Va also has fall-off range, which means that the further away your target is, the less damage she will do. So Diva has about 140 damage per second as her maximum damage per second, not including headshots, not including missiles. So at this range, right here, you're looking at roughly 140 DPS, because you're not going to miss a lot of shots at point blank. Over here, you're still looking at 100 DPS. Again, it's against a typical target, right? Because they're very close to you. Over here, you're probably looking at 60 damage a second, and over here, you're probably looking at like 20 damage a second. The drop-off is massive. And it's not just because of the math, it's because it's harder for you to hit targets that are farther away because they are smaller, both in terms of the precision required from your aim and also the spread of your cannons. So the closer the target is, the more damage you will do and the more threatening you are. I would add on to this that missiles also do about 75 damage per second as an additional damage, which is 215, which makes Diva one of the most dangerous tanks in the game when she has missiles available. As a note, way more dangerous than Ramatra or Reinhardt or Risa. Like, Diva is crazy dangerous when she has missiles active. Okay, so we understand Diva needs to be quite close to the enemy. Well, let's think about this. Where are the enemy going to show up? The enemy are going to show up either here or they're going to show up here, right? One of these two spots. Are either of these spots in my effective range? No? Then why am I standing here? Now, the only reason why you'd be standing here is if you need to counter dive or you need to DM an early sniper shot or an early concussive blast. Again, there's like so many different variables here, which makes it complicated. But the short answer here is I want you to play not here, but here, right? So this is red house. I want you to play red house. The reason being is you can shoot here and you can be threatening. But over here, you can't be threatening because you're way too far away and your damage, like if someone's who's standing still, literally if I stood here as soldier and I was AFK and I went and got a drink of water and came back, I don't think you could have killed me in time if you were using only your cannons. If I was literally stationary here with no missiles, I don't know if you could kill me in time. I think you'd literally be doing like 5 to 10 damage per second. So it is entirely possible that I could run upstairs, get a glass of water, and come back before you have killed me, and I would be AFK. That is how little damage you do with this range. And I don't think it clicks, I think, with a lot of newer Diva players, or inexperienced Diva players, just how little damage you do at range. Versus, if you are standing here, and the soldier is AFK, you're going to kill the soldier in 1 second. Right? So fast. Unbelievably fast you will kill this soldier if you're standing here. No missiles. If he's just stationary and just shoot him, he's dead. He's like dead like right away. In fact, you could even kill him to heal station. Heal station would do so little healing that it would be functionally irrelevant to your killing speed. That is how strong being close to an enemy versus far from an enemy is. Alright, so again, I think you should be playing Red House here. If you were playing Red House here, you could immediately intercept this Pharah, and this Pharah would be in big trouble. There's a very strong chance that she could die right now. If you're here, she's obviously dead right away. But even then, if you're really highly skilled, you could chase her over the top of boosters, get the kill, don't turn boosters off, fly back up, and go back to the top of Red House. So I would say that is like a Masters level plus play, but I'm just noting that like the level of skill expression on Diva can be really substantial, right? A lot of people think of Diva as like the Genji or Tracers of tanks because her mobility, her rapid fire mobility, and like the perfect control of it gives you a lot of options to deal with problems. Anyway, yeah. So I think you fly over here, good. So now we're finally at Red Roof, and now we're shooting, right? We play missiles, that's fine. If you don't do missiles here, that's okay, I don't hate that. Right? And we're playing damage. Like, obviously, they need to deal with you, right? Because you'll do, like, if they don't stop this, like, the damage you do is not trivial. Right? So you're holding a card back, so I think this is good, right? Everything here I think I like. Diva's over here, I think fine if you want to shoot her, right? DM happens. I understand DMing here, but you're Genji deflex, so you release. So I think this is good, right? You try to slow it down a little bit, but, right? You apply some missiles, okay, fine. Yeah, I think this is all fine, right? I think everything here so far is good. Now, I don't like this. The reason being is you're taking way too much damage. You need to slow down now. So I would use boosters to go behind car or go around here and just get healed back up. As a general rule, for most tanks that have armor at least, if you run out of armor, you are in danger of dying instantly. Most tanks with armor, your armor point is roughly about halfway through your health, and that is the point where you can die almost instantly. So for perspective, you're at 351. Cassidy alone does 280 damage on a headshot, right? Again, there's no armor damage reduction here, so that's 280 straight. And then another body shot would do 350, which basically demets you. He can do that in 0.5 seconds. I do not think that you can react fast enough to DM or fly away in 0.5 seconds. And that's assuming the Cassidy is the only one to shoot you, right? If the Cassidy and the Diva shoot you, you will get demapped in potentially less than 0.5 seconds. Like, you are actually in grave danger right now, you just don't realize it. And because the enemy team is not that good, you're not demapped here instantly. But I'm just noting, you could, like, if I'm the Cassidy here, and I look at this Diva, I'm like, oh, you dead. Like, you are gonna die. You're so low that even if you try flying away right now, I could right-click, roll, right-click, and you're still gonna die. And if you get demapped, I would consider that a death. Getting demapped involuntarily, like, if you did not plan to get demapped, like with Bomb, is probably a fight losing, generally speaking. Arguably worse than fight losing. So, let's think through the situation. We've currently lost 2 of our DPS, right? Ashe died early and Genji just died. So we currently have 3 people versus all 5. This is a 3v5 situation. As a tank, what should I do here? Well, the thing is, in this situation, you want to back up. Because I'm sure if I asked you, hey, $100, do you think you're going to win or you're going to lose this fight? I'm sure you're going to say, oh, I'm going to lose this fight, right? Like, it's 3v5. In which case, why am I taking this fight unless I'm being forced to? If the whole enemy team is on top of you, yeah, you got to fight it out. This is the way, you can't escape that. But in this situation, I got plenty of space. We all have mobility, right? We have plenty of cover. Just go away. Just literally fly all the way to the backside of the point. Let them push the cart. Get all 5 teammates together. Then re-push. That's your job as a tank to make the correct read for the situation, right? Like, that's got to be what you're seeing here. Did I even finish the Moira section? I feel like I started. No, I did. Even next, so we're doing more last. That's got to be the read here. We're not going to do the second fight because it's already taking too long as it is. Okay, you want to simply back way up here, not do like none of the damage you're doing is relevant at all. Like, they literally don't care. You see how they're not backing up at all? Before, when you were standing here, they backed up when you shot them. That's a good sign that you are creating space. Here, you're shooting them and they are walking forwards. That indicates that they are not in fact scared of you at all. See, you notice how they're coming closer and closer and closer? They're just coming right at you. Even the Ana, right? The most vulnerable member of the team is just running up here because she reads that there is nothing you can do to kill her. And she is correct. You cannot kill anybody here. Grenade goes off, right? And from here, like, basically it's a disaster, right? There's like no way to win the fight now. But again, this fight could have been winnable if you just reset back with the team, got all 5 people, or you see your Genji and Ashe are already here. If you just literally pushed out this fight 5-6 seconds, this is a completely winnable fight. But the enemy team has read that you did not make the correct moves here. You didn't take your team back with you, especially since all 3 of you are presumably in voice together. You should have been able to coordinate that. You should have been like, hey, look, we're down 2 players. We need to back up. Fight again as 5. Right? That's got to be the big takeaway here. I did not think I actually fully covered the border section. No, I did, right? I covered the heal spray, I covered the orb. Yeah, I did cover the border. I'm going crazy here. Okay, so I will briefly cover the second point, just in the interest of time. So, as a general rule here, Baptiste should be playing high ground. And your goal as Baptiste is, honestly, don't even worry about healing here, just apply damage. It's a really strong position playing from high ground, and it's difficult for them to take you down. When the Diva comes up, because the Diva's the only one who can contest you, maybe the Sim, when they come up to contest you, your Diva should go back to high ground and help you out, right? And then between the 2 of you, you should be able to force them back off high ground. They cannot move the cart past, like, roughly here if you control the high ground. That's the general idea here. As the Diva, you can be low ground, you can be high ground. It's flexible, right? Depends on if the Sim's gonna teleport. I want to already be on high ground. If the Diva's not going up there, I gotta follow her up. But other than that, I think it's got some flexibility here. I think for the Moira, if you want to play low ground, that's fine. This is another example of, like, the second point in Dorado was very poke heavy. Like, everything happens at angles that you can't really do anything about. But I think as Moira, if you want to be here, like, applying damage, I think that's okay. Again, I just really do not think this is a good point for Moira at all. I think they're 80-90% of the points in the game are totally fine. I think this is probably one of the few ones where I'm like, Moira just sucks here. Right? Now you get hindered. You're healing the ground right now. Bomb is popped, so you should fade right now. So, a note here is you should know, hey, look, bomb is popped. Bomb's going to kill everybody. At minimum, look at the bomb and be like, hey, look, is it going to get me? But you need to pop bomb here in this situation. So, as Baptiste here, so the lamp gets killed right before you die, which is a problem.
as another general rule, if you get low as Baptiste, pop regen burst first. Right now, pop regen burst, right? Not lamp, regen burst. Because regen burst has a lower cooldown. It's like 13-ish seconds, right? Versus lamp, which has like 25-second cooldown, 15 seconds, yeah. So you should have popped regen burst first. That way you wouldn't have felt the need to use a lamp. And then you would have had lamp to save you and the Moira from the D.Va bomb, right? That's another note. So I would also note there's no reason that you would have died if you were playing high ground. If you're playing high ground right here, right? Presuming D.Va came up here and forced the sim off, great, D.Va bomb's coming, I just walk inside, right? Sit here, I'm good. So for the D.Va, okay, one thing to note here is this area is not realistically contestable. So the primary contest angle here is going to be right here. This is where you want to be contesting, and on the second point, it's going to be, this is going to be the area you're contesting. And you might say, why here, right, and not here? The reason being is you should have teammates on high ground who can shoot down this way, but they can't shoot that way nearly as well. This area, they have multiple different angles that they can shoot the enemy. Here, they'd have to come all the way over to the edge here, and the cart provides better cover. So as a general rule, you don't want to hard contest them when they first come into the gate. You only want to contest out here. And that would help you tremendously because you're contesting really far away from that corner. So you see, again, you're contesting too early, which is causing you to take a lot of damage. You're not getting healed. Now you're purple, right? And now you're like, oh God, and things are in trouble. Next thing to note here is your response to D.Va bomb should not be, I chuck my own D.Va bomb, unless you know for sure you're not going to die to the D.Va bomb. The D.Va bomb is right. Honestly, this is a great D.Va bomb. This is like an A+ D.Va bomb here. I think the only way this could be better, I mean, not that enemies on high ground, would have been if they popped it like a little bit lower to kill people inside the church. But you're going to die to the D.Va bomb, A. But if you, in this situation, if you're going to definitely die to the D.Va bomb, which you definitely should not here because you have boosters, right? The second this happens, just turn, use boosters, and fly to the church, and you're good, and you're safe, right? Alternatively, you can fly this way. You have multiple options. But if you're going to die to the D.Va bomb, just let it demech you, then pop D.Va bomb, right, to stay alive. Not that you should in this situation, because you're going to lose both supports anyway, so this fight's lost. But there's no reason that either one of your supports should have died, considering both of them had cooldowns and cover they could have used to survive this. So, that's my note there. Okay, I'm going to hold... and just to kind of re-summarize. So I would say, as D.Va, I think you kind of start out okay, but I think that you need to understand when you are outmatched, and you need to know how to take your team back and reset for a better fight. Okay, that's kind of like the big thing right there. Number one. For your Baptiste, I think weaving is the big thing, and I think more judicious use of your cooldowns is number two, right? But like weaving by far, like biggest single impact. Don't tunnel vision on damage. Don't tunnel vision on healing. Weave. Okay. For the Moira, I think your healing spray mechanics are a problem, and I think that your fading is not putting you in safe positions, and you died bomb while you have bait available, right? Like you can just literally hit shift, like right now and be safe, or earlier and use the fade to get the safety. It doesn't feel like you. I mean, it says that you're like somewhat new to Overwatch, so like maybe you're not familiar with D.Va bomb and its mechanics, but like you're not reacting appropriately to the D.Va bomb, right? It's like a bomb is about to explode in your face, and you're just sitting there like brushing your teeth or having a snack instead of reacting to the fact that the bomb is about to go off in your face. So this strikes me as like you don't know what the ability does, or you're not used to the sound or the visual cue, and you don't know what the correct response is to it. So I think that more experience here will be helpful. I would also note, again, if you can play any support that has any kind of range on Dorado, that would be helpful. But again, most maps this isn't a problem, so it's probably fine. But yeah, but healing mechanics still a big thing to note. Okay, I think that's good for now. I'm going to wrap. Hopefully this is helpful.